Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Tyranny. Last episode, we started making our way through these ruins, where it appears we're under attack. We have people we need to deal with, or enemies we need to deal with. There's apparently a commander in trouble. Also, we have a companion. Weapons and armor are stacked with neat precision on this transport cart. Every spear is honed and oiled, ready for battle. Kairos ordered the original icon of the disfavored erased from memory. For over 100... Admiring the disfavored sigil? I know a thing or two about that. For over 100 years, the disfavored have kept the scratched-out iconography, wearing it with pride. Skycap, okay. Couldn't help but notice how you were eyeballing the disfavored symbol littered about the camp. It's hardly a symbol, just a scrawl. That's true, but it used to be the pride of Graven Ash's Legion before Kairos made them deface it. What happened? Word has it that Ash has been under more scrutiny than the other Archons, seeing as he took a stand against Kairos in the past. Even though he bent the knee in the end, that doesn't place him above suspicion. Kairos and the other Archons keep him on a tight leash. Ash's troops impressed the growing empire, but Kairos made them sacrifice everything they were up to the point Ash surrendered. They've been disfavored ever since, and fighting to earn back their honor. I guess that's why you don't cross the Overlord. Kairos holds a grudge with a mean, jealous streak. I've heard enough. I don't blame you. Compared to the Scarlet Chorus, the disfavored are about as interesting as hard labor. I don't know, I find them a little more interesting. The symbol of the Scarlet Chorus is smeared in blood on the tattered cloth tent. No effort has been made to repair the gaping tears.
We'll talk when this is over.
There's a person there. Vendrian heavy bronzed greaves. Okay, and a gem. What are you doing? You'll draw attention to me. This torn banner bears a scratched-out icon of the disfavored. The army's original symbol has been lost to history, and Graven Ash has never ordered a replacement, preferring the blasted icon over all others. Locked, and we don't have enough subterfuge, and I can't even get to it. Stow your weapons, or we find out how long a man screams before hitting the ravine down below. Cornered between a precipitous drop and a band of angry soldiers, the Oathbreaker warrior holds a disfavored officer at knife point. Skewer him! Worry not for me. Graven Ash will protect! The disfavored officer winces, blood seeping from the seams of his bracers and cuirass. You heard the man. He plainly invited you to use that little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your pimp? This blade? With a jerk of his knife, he slices off a clump of Drastus's matted hair. If you're so eager to see your ally dead, just step closer. Ooh, athletics 30. Lower your weapon, then charge forward and wrest the knife from him. The Oathbreaker cracks a wide smile as you lower your weapon. That's right. Now the rest of you drop those weapons. With his attention on the other warriors, you dash forward. He reaches out with his dagger to slay Drastus, but your hand is already on his wrist. With a wrenching twist, you mangle his hand, dropping the dagger harmlessly to the ground. The disfavored warriors rush forward from either side of you. Tyrell barely manages a strained gasp before being hacked and impaled upon their swords and spears. Kairos be praised! That Oathbreaker fought with the rage of Cairn himself. Drastus slides a trembling hand along the cut on his neck. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last. From the look of it, they thought that if they swarmed the past, maybe one might make it out. We found a few scraps of parchment on the bodies. Drastus holds out a handful of crumpled parchments for your inspection. A student of letters such as yourself should be able to make sense of this. Examine the parchment. Repeating the same messages in different written scripts, the parchments explain the Vendrian guards' desire to overthrow Kyrus's archons and rout their armies from the tiers. The pages aren't addressed to any specific reader, but rather openly invites all who remain loyal to the younger realms to gather at Vendrian's Well. Recruitment material. They were trying to bring more traitors to the fight. Well, from the look of it, we kept them from slipping out of the valley. Whatever they hoped to accomplish, I think their plan died here. The Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gate to the southeast and follow the trails downslope for a few hours. You'll see the campfires leagues away. Can't miss it. Well, there we go. Quick Finder Bangles. Ooh. Honor Guards, False Falcons. Sigil of Distant Impact. Fatebinder. Aurora salutes you as you approach. We are honored by your presence. Need something? What's the situation here in Vendrian's Well? The Oathbreakers hold the citadel at the heart of the valley, the one built around the base of the spire. Aurora points east toward the tower in the distance. The Matani River has been our largest headache during the siege. It's unsafe for armored troops to ford, save for at key locations, and the enemy knows this as well as we do. I know we'd be a lot farther along if the Scarlet Chorus used its alleged strength in numbers to ford the river themselves and overwhelm the enemy. Aurora looks at Verse with a disapproving air. As it is, we must take the valley slowly and advance the disfavored bulwark, since that's where the real work gets done. Because all it takes is numbers to cross a river under a hail of arrows. If the disfavored were quicker to act, maybe the Vendrian Guard wouldn't be so trained up to face us. If either of you was correct, the campaign would be over and I wouldn't be here. A fair point. The Legion is eager to gain some perspective on our quarrels. Consequently, I retract my previous remark. Really? Because I don't. Next time you say something, try to mean it. How long have you been with the disfavored? 7 years. She pauses to count on her fingers. 2 seasons, mayhap a couple of days. I trained at Fort Resolution a bit before the conquest. Compared to the commanders you find around camp or stationed at Iron Hearth, that makes me one of the young bloods. This has been a long and grueling campaign, but the end is in sight. We'll soon have the Oathbreakers back under control. Then we can rest, retrain, and even cycle out the troops so we can see our families again. What can you tell me of the Vendrian Guard? They are the last gasp of the younger realms. Among them are warriors that escaped the bastard city siege, a few refugees from other victories, and a bunch of Vendrian locals with delusions of independence. These southern wastrels cannot match our iron nor the chorus's numbers. What's on Doratus gave them the nerve to rise up and ask for a second helping of battle is anyone's guess. Seen anything interesting during the war? I once saw a forge-bound artisan set himself on fire. Occupational hazard. That was an unpleasant day. First of many, to be honest. I wasn't there to watch you proclaim the Edict of Storms, but I saw the devastation hit Stalwart and take up several cohorts of disfavored with it. She squeezes her eyes shut and shakes her head. Carry on. She taps her gauntlet to her breastplate in salute. Have a pleasant siege, Fatebinder. Does appear to be a few things to look at. Oh my. So what's it? Hold on. First, let me look here. Quick Finder Bangles. I'm curious here. Could be useful, I think. Yeah, I think it is. Anything else? I'm pretty sure Phalanx is like a spear. Probably. Let's see. Anything I want to give you? head wrap is an option, but no. I don't think there's anything else. Okay. So what's this? The Archon demands all prisoners be given a chance to serve the chorus. These lying horsepawn had their chance long ago. I say kill him. The prisoner says his name's Tarkus Demos. Drastus lets out a long sigh, tapping his gauntleted finger to his temple. Then I don't think this is a complicated matter. He dies! His family's been a driving force in the Vendrian Guard. Killing him should demoralize whatever's left of the Tarkus clan. All must be given a chance to find absolution in service to the Scarlet Chorus. The mage points a finger at the disfavored officer. And you know full well this has always been our way. He has a chance to be a slave or soldier. Only then do we feed him to the pigs. We'd let you take prisoners, but you can't control them. You send these conscripts out on patrol and they never return, defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. Well, I insist this Oathbreaker be taken to the Voices of Narat, leaving us at an impasse. Fortunately, we have a Fatebinder here to settle the matter for us. The chanter turns to you, an expectant smile is creeping across her face. So, what say you? What should become of this prisoner? And here we have our first choice between the two. Execute the Oathbreaker, or allow him to join again. Which would be the better choice, I wonder. Well, all are given a chance. The chorus should be allowed its chance to recruit new warriors. This is a sort of nonsense that got us into this mess to begin with. We're in now. If we keep showing these mongrels mercy, they'll just bite us time and time again. If it will calm your nerves, I assure you this one won't be put on the battlefield. The mage snaps her fingers loudly, gesturing for her gang to listen. Make sure the prisoner is taken straight to the Voices of Narat. I won't keep you here any longer, Fatebinder. I know you have important business in the valley. Drastus salutes you, his iron gauntlet rapping against his breastplate. For the glory of Kairos! I may still want to talk with you. Yeah, I can't do anything with that. Ah! Here we have reputation. Scarlet Chorus. It actually has information on how things go. We have tiers here. We have tiers for that, and... What about disfavored? We are at tier 1, but that doesn't give us anything. Not until tier 3, which would be useful. Reputation change of very major strength to unlock this tier. Vendrian Guard. Well, we have our Wrath. Because we killed so many soldiers. Okay, that's definitely going to happen. Verse. And we have Graven Ash and the Voices of Narat. Okay. We sing the Anthem of Pain. You have my thanks, Fatebinder. I must attend to the rest of my soldiers. Fatebinder, what an honor to have one of Tunon's court visit our humble holdfast. Need supplies? Bursting with energy, the merchant slams her palm down on the top of the crate. If so, you've come to the right place. So, what will it be today? How's trade? Well, this is a service posting. No profit up here in the pass. That's Harchy and Bronze orders. But when we march out of the valley, I'm back on my own schedule, and here's to hoping this year is a good one. The Overlord forbids the extortion of the pathways. Good thing, too, 'cause in years past I'd lose most of my profits to tolls. Couldn't turn to copper if I tried to haul long distance. I trust you've been granted proper stewardship of the goods you're peddling? Well, you see, Fatebinder... The merchant cranes her head to the side, scratching her neck. I think so. I've been handed these bits of scripts. She reaches across a stack of provisions to snatch a scroll case. But I'm not a woman of letters. Numbers are my strength, as you can well imagine. Let me see those. Certainly, good Fatebinder. She hands you the scroll case while wearing a quizzical expression. A cursory read indicates this merchant is granted the unlimited right to trade in a logistical capacity. When not supporting an active battle, she has the right to trade grain, copper, and olives anywhere in the tiers. Well, this all seems in order. Well, naturally. Just because we fight dirty doesn't mean we trade dirty. Well, most of the time, at least. Let's see what you have. Okay, good. I think we'll be able to sell. What do I want to sell? Well, I want to sell that. I want to sell that. And I feel like that's a special magical item. Yeah, this is just a spear. But I'll hold on to magical items. Okay, sell that, sell that, sell that, sell that. What are these? Consumables. Okay, I don't really care much about them. Accessories, Spire, I don't know what that is. Other, and a negate. And we have a couple weapons and the like, but no, I mean, we could buy some of them. Camping supplies, I don't need to buy any right now. We have a bronze sword already, I think. Yes, I do. And Fatebinder's shield. Parry, dodge, endurance. Parry, dodge, endurance. Yeah, we're fine. Trade and sell those items. Thank you very much. I think we're good now. Okay. Moving on.
Sorry, I can't. Can't do that.
Can't go that way. So, how do we get out? Oh, I see. Gate over here. I bet I could scale the Citadel walls. That's the way out. But it does appear that there's a path over here. Climb the wall. This wall has begun to crumble, creating handholds suitable for climbing. And use the walls.
You learn something every day.
We make it up here, but we can't open the locked door. Not locked door, locked chest. Oh, but I think we leveled up. Yay! Attributes points. Level up. With each level, you can increase one of your character's attributes. Might, finesse, quickness, wits, vitality, or resolve. Each of these attributes provides benefits to your character, as well as increases one or more skills. Increasing an attribute costs 1 point until the attribute score reaches 19. To raise an attribute from 19 to 20 requires 2 attribute points. Okay. I feel like a point in wits would be useful. Still, subterfuge isn't high enough, and we can't improve it anymore. Save your changes? Yes. And we have our talents. Leadership. We can't do any until we are level 3. So what do we have? We have in defense. Shield mastery, that would be good. Staggering force causes thrust to interrupt the target. We have shield slam. Challenger stance, taunt nearby enemies every few seconds. Blade wall allows an additional enemy to engage at one time and grants a bonus to damage dealt to targets that are stunned or prone. Since I can stun, that would be useful. Guard, enter a defensive stance, gaining a bonus to armor. Useful. Power, cleave. Oh, I like cleave. You know I love good cleavage. Focus strike adds armor penetration to the thrust ability. Palm strike, probably not that good for me. Agility, flurry of blows, double attack. Feint, add a feint to your thrust ability, blinding your opponent as you strike them. Interesting. Move faster in combat. Range, hobble, escape, poison dart, piercing arrow. Interesting. Armor penetration to attacks with thrown weapons. Safe distance. Could be useful. Magic. Magical prodigy. Arcane charge. Charge strike. Pity I can't do any of these. Oh well. I think having a defense stance would be good. That way we'd actually have a stance. Yes, save. What about you? No, you can't level up. Okay. Well, let's go over to the front door. And then we'll speak with our companion.
Need to talk? I suppose I can give you a moment of my time.
Verse crosses her arms and regards you with curiosity.
What do you need?
Are you a spy for the Voices of Narat? Verse regards you with an unreadable expression. Her mismatched eyes look at each of yours in turn. I mean, does it even matter? You have to decide for yourself whether or not I'm worth trusting. Is keeping me along with the risk that I'll spill the occasional word about what you ate for breakfast? Insufficient reputation, not surprised. The Voices of Narat is the Archon of Secrets, not the Archon of Honesty or fair dealings. If you don't assume that everyone already reports to him, you're not being careful enough. Tell me something about yourself.
If you insist. I'm a Scarlet Fury. That should raise some flags for you. It means that I'm good at killing, and more importantly, that I enjoy it. What I won't enjoy are the pleasures of funerary rites packed with weeping mourners. Someday I'll fall in battle, and then they'll roll me into a mass grave or heap me atop a shit-stained wagon. One more anonymous, knife-riddled piece of meat. Until then, I plan to take whatever I can from life and have a little fun along the way.
I suppose you can be a fun one to have around. Tell me about your life before the chorus. Life? What life? As far as I'm concerned, I didn't exist before the chorus. There was some girl in a farm wearing my face and talking with my voice, but she wasn't me. Sometimes she would sneak out at night, take a scythe, and have some fun with the livestock. Our shared interests began and ended there. When the Scarlet Chorus swept through my village on their long trek from the bastard city, that was when I finally woke up. I buried my old life, took red vengeance on anyone who'd wronged me, and found the freedom I could only dream was out there. What of your parents? My mother ran a successful farm, and I worked it for a number of years before I found the chorus. She was a hard, bitter woman, acted like the world owed her something. She never talked about my father, though I figured out a thing or two about him later on. He was a merchant from the Northern Empire who took a liking to her, and she him. He stayed around only long enough to get what he wanted. But never mind him. My mother never had what you would call taste, so he couldn't have been terribly influential to me if he did stick around. Do you ever wish you could do things over and end up somewhere other than Kairos' army? That's as naive a question as I've ever heard. Kairos is everywhere. If you aren't in the Overlord's army, you're being trampled by it. Of course, I could have labored on the family farm into my maturing years, married some dolt, and littered him a nursery of squealing piglets. Having my body torn to pieces by smaller versions of me sounds like fun. Then one day, when I decided enough was enough, I'd slit my husband's throat over breakfast and run off to join the chorus anyway. My way saved a lot of time. Verse smooths back the feathers in her hair and shakes her head with a smile. You're a killer. Better to stick with the chorus. At least you understand. The chorus praises and rewards the thing inside me that I would suppress in civilized company. Life is too short to repress every desire, right? Especially if I have anything to say about it. How did you get conscripted? How did I think you have the wrong idea about me. The chorus didn't take me as a sobbing maid. I strode into their camp and enlisted. Someone tossed me a dented blade. I lived through initiation, spent a week butchering my neighbors, and moved on with my new kin. I didn't waste time with goodbyes. My mother had long since died, and the rest of my family were louses. The girl I used to be, even she knew that she was worth more than all of them combined. What's the significance of your feathers? Oh, I don't tell that story to just anyone. You'll have to butter me up before I get into the really intimate details. Alright, it's enough about your past. That suits me just fine. I'm not much for comparing family histories if I can avoid it. Tell me about your time with the Scarlet Chorus.
The Scarlet Chorus is mostly for madmen and peasants with rusty daggers, but it's also a little niche of freedom that I never had. Once I survived training and met my Scarlet Fury sisters, I saw a different side of the Howling Mob.
Tell me about your training.
For new recruits shoved to the front lines, training means surviving the first battle. Anything beyond that is for the fighters who show potential, whether as blade dancers or arcane madmen. There's nothing in the world like getting put through the paces as a Scarlet Fury. Every day is a test of your commitment and passion. Failure means death. The first few weeks were the hardest, but also the most rewarding. I earned my name, picked up some quality weapons, and met my sisters.
Tell me about the Scarlet Furies.
The elite fighters of the Scarlet Chorus. Your typical Horde recruit fights with a rusty spoon and a chip on his shoulder, but the Scarlet Furies are, well, different. We focus our madness. We coordinate, we kill, we dance. It's like art. Imagine a sculpture that twisted in weird, beautiful angles, and then gutted you too fast for you to realize what was happening.
Oh, certainly sounds wonderful.
It is, as I remind myself all the time. The most important day of my life was when the voices of Nerat recognized my potential and sent me to Scarlet Fury training.
So you earned your name. If you think a simple farmer from the Tiers would name her child Verse, I suggest you visit my old village. Most of them were walking around with surnames like Barrel or Fish. Not the most creative bunch. The chorus takes your name away. Whoever you were before, you aren't that person anymore. Then you earn back a name through great deeds, usually murderous ones. That's why you see choirmen walking around with names like Stink Mouse or Face First. There's probably a good reason for it. The voices of Nerat gave me this name. When the Scarlet Chorus runs howling into battle, he doesn't hear war, he hears a symphony. And when I fight with blade or bow, he told me that my music stands out louder than anyone else's, and contains too many parts to be easily defined. When you least expect it, the Archon of Secrets can be downright charming. What's your real name? That question isn't worthy of either of us, but I'll entertain it out of pity. You already know me by my real name. It's Verse. Are you looking for whatever arbitrary collection of letters and sounds my mother thought was appropriate when she didn't even know me? Then you're out of luck. I buried that name long ago. Long by my standards, anyway. Tell me about your weapon skills. When I was just a kid, it didn't take me long to realize I was a natural. I could pick up a rusty kitchen knife and skewer a rat from across the room. The Scarlet Chorus gave me opportunities to further educate myself. My sisters were always a bit surprised by how quickly I took to different fighting styles. She frowns for a moment and then shakes off whatever she wanted to say. Back to my questions about the chorus.
What do you need to know?
Before, you hesitated when you brought up your fighting styles. Why? As if that's any of your business. If I wanted to say something, you would have heard it. Don't assume that I'm holding back. By my office as Fatebinder, you are beholden to deal with me honestly. That's as starchy and literal a point as I've ever heard, but you're not wrong. Also, I like how you handled yourself there, throwing your authority around like it meant something. I mentioned before that I'm good at picking up different weapons and fighting techniques. The truth is, I'm better than good. I could flay a man so cleanly that I'd leave a single strip of skin behind. He wouldn't even need to be tied down. That was one of the first things I discovered about myself after joining the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat recognized it in me as well, which is why he singled me out for Scarlet Fury training. Have you tried that flaying trick before? Let's just say that when we ran out of canvas for pitching tents, the fifth eye handed me a knife and pointed me to the prison pens. My sisters were the masters of their fighting forms, but since they died, my style has changed, almost like I can kill as they did. I could pick up a bow, a lance, anything really. I could tear someone to pieces with a weapon that I only watched my sisters use. I don't know what it could mean, and that worries me. Who are your sisters? Who were they would be more appropriate. Three Whispers, Red Geyser, and Seeking Sheath. Best fighters I ever met. Seeking Sheath, okay. There wasn't a foe we couldn't take down together. Our fighting styles complemented perfectly, so we divided up the killing work like bards sharing a song. At least we used to. She presents a solemn salute. This episode's gonna be long, but we may as well continue talking diverse. Tell me about Three Whispers. She was as calm as the surface of a pond and light on her feet. More than one foe tripped and fell on their own blade due to Whisper's crafty footwork. Verse lets her gaze slip away from you as a fleeting moment of sorrow steals her attention. Tell me about Red Geyser. A one-woman siege-breaker. She would launch herself at her foes like a battering ram. Not even a disfavored phalanx could have withstood that dumb, suicidal wretch. Kairos' eyes, but she was something to behold. Verse slams her fist into her palm. Tell me about Seeking Sheath. That girl could pass a spear through 12 rings from the far side of a battlefield. Kairos helps any foes who approached her marching single file. She made a game of spitting as many soldiers as possible on the same javelin. What happened to them? We were scouting around Vendrian's well during the siege, back when we only suspected the guard of organizing in secret. My sisters and I came upon a group of them. Or Kairos knows, maybe they found us. No one said anything. We drew iron and bronze. That was when everything went wrong. I was supposed to take point and occupy the guard with a dance of blade work, something disorienting while my sisters picked their marks. I hesitated. I lost my nerve. Instead of rushing the Oathbreakers, I froze with my weapon drawn. My sisters fought on without me, but they were off balance, like whatever I had was catching. They died. I lived. My sisters were relying on me to lead the dance, and I failed them. It's understandable. Caution stayed your hand. Caution? Save your caution for the disfavored. If we showed caution, could we have taken the bastard city or the gates of judgment? Could we have conquered the tears with anything less than our blood boiling over with rage, the song of battle ripping from our lungs? Hesitation is rot. It's unbecoming of any chorus member, and unheard of in a Scarlet Fury. I would cut it from my body and cauterize the wound if only I knew its source. She grimaces once more and turns inward, contemplating. Any thoughts on the topic, or are we just here to open old wounds? Any idea why you lost your nerve in battle? I wish I had an explanation. For the first time, I lost the dance. The song of murder drew silent. Instead, there was only rigid, organized control. Back to the
What do you need to know?
Who are the Scarlet Chorus leaders? Well, the Voices of Narat is a spider at the center of the web. He acts like the army belongs to him, and he only lends it to Kairos because it suits his purposes, both of which are true. The rest are all offshoots of the Voices, like the Fifth Eye. Once you get down to the rank and file, the Scarlet Chorus organize around a motley bunch of gang bosses who call the shots. What do you want to know? Tell me about the Voices of Narat. He's a madman, but that never stopped me from following his orders. Even in a legion as cutthroat as the Chorus, you know better than to get on the Voice's bad side. People who cross him, or just people he meets, don't tend to survive the experience. If he ever seems disorganized or lost, it's because he's channeling one of the personalities he's developed over the years, and his mannerisms shift over to someone else, someone who's probably long since dead. Better to die than to become part of the Voices. What makes the Voices of Narat so powerful? He's the Archon of Secrets, and he didn't earn that title lightly. People say that he knows more than every sage in the tiers combined, and that he can think 1,000 steps ahead of the other Archons. It would be putting it lightly to say he's never alone under that disapproving helmet of his. If you make secrets your business, I guess having people constantly whisper in your ear is a good thing. I usually want people to shut up, but to each their own. Tell me about the Fifth Eye. A walking nightmare, that one. I couldn't begin to guess who lives under that armor and speaks with that reedy voice, but I'll tell you what I know. When your world is built on secrets, it pays to have a few extra eyes. The Voices of Narat has eyes in abundance, some that he keeps close and others that he sends out in the wilderness. Whoever the fifth eye was before he came into the Archon's service, now he's just a half-mad gibbering speech hole. A bodily function. In other words, an eye. Wait, Narat's eyes are people? Maybe they used to be people. Whatever they were, they're eyes now. Folks like to whisper that the Voices of Narat takes his servants and cuts out all the extra parts that they don't need. She makes a quick snipping gesture with her fingers. I once heard the Voices and the Fifth Eye in a tent together. The Voices kept screaming, "Redundancies! Redundancies!" every time another gout of blood would spray on the canvas walls. I can't even guess what he was cutting out. How many eyes does the Archon of Secrets have? The number keeps changing, either because it grows or because rumors don't mean shit. 3, 7, 19. Some even say that all of us are eyes and we don't even know it. She shakes her head in thoughtful disapproval. It's one of those questions that drives you mad if you allow yourself to think about it for too long. Hey, you could be one of Tunon's eyes, but you never thought of that. Tell me about the gang bosses. A boss is anyone who can rally enough support to kill the previous boss. They cling to command until someone gets wise and stabs them in the back. Tipcap leaves the Filthy Lambs, Lox leaves the Rusted Hops, Sharp used to lead the Bone Boys. Couldn't say where he ended up after they broke his legs. Waterwheel orders around the Hairy Hunters, Hauls for Shit leads the Lazy Malkins, and Scurvy Queen, Finger Food, and Wild Gash collectively lead the Ladies of Perpetual Strangulation. I'm forgetting at least a dozen more. I've even led a gang or two back in my day. They never survived very long, so no point in getting attached. You led a gang? Oh, don't act so surprised. I can crack a whip better than any of those daisies at the disfavored labor camps. But I was never that interested in the power struggle of those grunts and scabs in the middle. I wanted to stand on the top like an apex predator. Here I am. So when I got tired of a gang, I disbanded and let the other bosses fight over the new recruits. That much amused me, at least. Some of my old mates are still alive and hanging around wherever they ended up.
What do you need to know?
Other questions. Oh, geez. What are your thoughts on the disfavored? A warren of self-entitled children so wound up in delusions of honor they're likely to hang themselves by their own high standards. I wish they had stayed in the Northern Empire where they belonged. Then we could get some real work done in the tiers. What do you think of their leader, Graven Ash? I've seen enough of that high-minded braggart to know that he's all duty. Nothing but a charismatic, broad-shouldered scarecrow. He calls himself the Archon of War, though by the way he stalls his forces waiting for a better strategy to prevent itself, you would think that he's afraid of battle. You would think that someone more deserving would take Ash's mantle from him, but the disfavored have this cult of personality built around their great general. In their eyes, he can do no wrong. What about Ash's connection to his troops? Graven Ash protects. His soldiers keep harping on those words like they mean something. I don't deny that the disfavored can take a few extra lumps on the battlefield, but that only speaks to their thick-headedness. If anything, it's only true because the soldiers place that much trust in it. I've seen the power of suggestion do stranger things to people. Could that be possible? We're talking about a man who's centuries old and wears glowing armor, you tell me. Who would you see take Ash's place? I would rather let the disfavored sort it out among themselves. Graven Ash is this aging figurehead of what should be a constantly changing role. The right soldier needs to grow a pair and kill the old man. Kick his cane out from under him. Remind the Legion what strength looks like. The Voices of Narat changes. He's a multifaceted gem, and the Scarlet Chorus is a reflection of that beauty. If someone could rise up and strike down the Voices, any of us would follow them in a heartbeat. I suppose you have a better idea how to handle the disfavored forces. Of course I do. First I'd stop babying the troops. Pain is a lesson best learned early. I'd conscript from the locals to bolster the front lines, because why waste your elite on the vanguard? Then I'd leave any misplaced ethics back in the Northern Empire. They're not helping Kyrus' campaign anyway, so fuck them. You'd take away everything that makes them strong. It's a damn fine alternative from where I'm standing. If all that strength couldn't end a siege, what good is it to anyone? Would that be so wrong? The chorus is accountable for itself in ways that the disfavored aren't. Our weak die and the strong fight to keep their rank. The disfavored promote their waning bloodline and discipline any soldier with the audacity to show their teeth. Though they'd never admit it, the disfavored need the chorus to show them the way. Oh, my throat is sore, but I still need to finish this conversation. At this rate, this episode's gonna be a two-parter. Holy hell. Do you think the disfavored have a chance to succeed in the tiers? Speaking as one of the exceptions, most of the tribesmen are pushovers. The people of Stalwart seem capable enough, though I have my doubts. You might call them the disfavored's best challenge. Even if they succeeded, it might be too late to redeem themselves. The chorus have already impacted the conquest more than the disfavored have, or likely ever will. I don't know about that. What are your thoughts on their battle strategies? They've really got something with that phalanx maneuver, a formation built on holding still, moving forward slowly, and hoping that no one slips in the mud. At best, the disfavored are tired of using the same tactic over and over again. At worst, the enemy knows what to expect out of them. Scarlet Furies are dancers. We hear the music of battle and organize ourselves into works of killing art. Every fight is as hot and passionate as the last, with no room for stale routine. What do you think of those who defy Kairos' authority? The tiersmen can either fight or submit to Kairos' peace, and only one of those options captures my interest. I suppose I appreciate when they go down fighting. If they did otherwise, I would need to find another excuse to flay them. They need to understand, whether we unify the tiers under a shared banner or at the bottom of a mass grave makes little difference to you, me, or Kairos. That's an interesting view of the conquest. It's a pragmatic one anyway. The Scarlet Chorus caught on to the idea at the beginning of the campaign. If no one objects that we're here to carve a bloody path for gain and amusement, then by all accounts, that is our purpose. Besides, unification is such a vague concept that Kairos allows the disfavored and the chorus to interpret it as they will. The Overlord is concerned with results. I'm happy to focus on the details, especially if that means cutting off a farmer's legs while his family watches their land burn. No shame in taking pleasure in your work. No, there isn't. Fatebinder, I suspect that we're going to make something great together. A line of bodies stretching as far as the old walls. Ah, it's going to be beautiful. She looks at you with renewed interest. Did you fight at any notable battles? I spent some time in Azure toward the end of the war. Beastmen ripped my unit apart. We thought they might be working under Cairn's orders, but we never found out for sure. I have thoughts about your combat abilities.
Do you now? Call me intrigued. You already know that I memorized the moves of my Scarlet Fury sisters. If it seems like a total mystery to me, I don't know how you could have arrived at any conclusions, but I'm open to ideas.
We need more lore subterfuge, so hold on that. How is it that you picked up your fallen sister's weapon skills? That's been on my mind for some time, and I still don't have an explanation that fits. I have a few ideas, but Scarlet Furies share a sort of link. It's how we coordinate our dance in the heat of battle. We don't pass messages or anything, but our emotions and intentions sync up without words. She starts worrying one of her knives. After a moment she sighs and slaps the blade back into its sheath. Sadly, I can't choose either of those. Go on. The one thing I always knew was that I felt this connection more keenly than my sisters did. I could pick up nuances that they missed, and I could feel them from farther away. When my sisters died, I felt each of them getting yanked out of my brain like someone pulling snails from a garden, but some of their slime residue was still there. Does that make any sense? I would take comfort in that. Your sisters live on in you. Your optimism is cute, Fatebinder, if singularly useless. It won't bring my sisters back, and it doesn't fix this thing in my head that I don't understand. No matter how you paint it, some part of my sisters broke off in me when they died, and now I'm left to deal with it. Just another day in the tears, right? You learned a thing or two about fighting in the Scarlet Chorus. Care to duel?
That would be an understatement, and I thought you'd never ask. Since you're obviously at a huge disadvantage, I'll let you pick our weapon of choice.
How about bows? Let's play target practice.
If you want to risk becoming a pincushion, it's your funeral. But you're right about one thing. This will be fun.
You take turns loosing blunted arrows and using each other as moving targets. Verse is an accomplished runner and swats a few projectiles that get close out of the air. When her turn arrives, it takes all of your energy to keep up with her relentless volley of projectiles. You observe her technique and take a valuable lesson to heart.
You held your own. Call me impressed. Need anything else, or did I tire you out?
Are you a spy for the Voices in the Rat? Verse regards you with an unreadable expression. Her mismatched eyes. Nope, insufficient. We'll talk again later. And from what I can tell... Where's the reputation? Here? Yes. So, loyalty and fear. Elated by your feisty, chaotic inclinations, or appalled by your orderly, honorable ways. So, we have two other abilities here that we can get, depending on loyalty and fear. Interesting stuff. That said, I have to end this episode here. It has gone on long enough, and my throat is sore. So, next episode... Siren. Next episode, we will continue onwards and make our way towards where we need to be. That'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I am Chester44. That is Jason Pendragon and Verse. This has been a Let's Play of Tyranny, and I shall see you all next time.